everybody. Sorry for the glare of the light there, but tonight I do have a very special guest. He's also always been a good friend to me. Uh, he's been on my show a couple of times. Uh, Before I bring him up, I do have announcements for the clinic for next month. It's 11th. We do have a packed house for that night, so we're going to try to get started around about 6 and probably go live around about 9. It'll take a while to get everything set up, and so uh, I think me and my dad might go out to Virginia to see my cousin, and we might end up doing a investigation up around where she lives at, find us a cemetery or some building or something other that she knows about, and try to hang out with her and my aunt for a while and try to get some videos made and stuff like that. We are still working on the Fort Macon, and we're working on getting a battleship and things like that. So we're actually going to try to get that started. Hey, Facebook user. Hey, buddy. Hey there, David. How you doing, bud? Appreciate y'all coming in so far. Let me go ahead and get my guest up here. Hey there, buddy.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. Just chilling out. So, what's it? What have you been into so far? What you got going on?
Well, like I was saying earlier, I've kind of walked away from the paranormal for right now, and I've started up a podcast, Under the Streetlight, where I talk to comedians, musicians, artists, small business owners.
Yeah.
I'm trying to reach out to the everyday people who are chasing the dream, because they're the ones that make this country, or this world an amazing place. Not the politicians, not Hollywood, not elite. Those are the ones that are important. And then I'll be relaunching an old podcast. Originally, it was called The Plagueland Report, but now I've changed the name to Stand and Resist. That show will be about, taking an honest look at a lot of the stuff that's happening in the media and, problems that's going on around in our everyday lives. So,
no. Well, that's cool. So, how have you been working with anybody lately? I mean, are you doing it just around where you live at, or around all over the United States?
with the Under the Streetlight podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I was working with Anna Brandemart, but she decided she wanted to pursue some of her own ventures, so we split. I've taken full control of Under the Streetlight, and I've had quite a few people on. I've had 4 people on so far, but I've got several people lining up to get on the show. Okay. And one of them you even know, or you may have heard of him, Mark Lee from Enlightened Souls Paranormal.
Yeah.
His band, Decade of Decadence, will be on Under the Streetlight soon, hopefully. Right now I'm talking with him, trying to get those details ironed out and get him on the show.
No, cool. That's cool. Let's see. Well, my computer is slow. I've been watching Laugh Out Loud. That's cool. That was Mason, so the Facebook user.
Okay.
Do you have any childhood stories or anything that you?
Well, I mean, I can tell you all kinds of stories. I can tell you. The problem is that some of these stories I'm not sure would be good for your show because they can get a little vulgar sometimes.
Yeah. Just some stuff. I remembered one that you told about y'all used to play tricks on some other kids when you was in school.
Well, which trick? Because I pulled some serious pranks on people. One time I had a friend of mine. Well, I met this girl Jenny, and I met her brother, and we were over at a mutual friend of ours' house. Of course, back then this is hanging out with him basically meant you go to his place, you go in the basement, we all get really high on weed while he played the video game, and we just watch him. Now I've got
Yeah.
her on my left, and then I've got her brother on my right. And this is the first time I ever met her brother, and I could tell he was a little skittish. So the room was kind of dark, Kurt playing his game, and we're all high at the kite, and I kind of elbowed Jen. I'm like, watch. And I throw my arm around Ben, and I get on his lap like a stripper. I'm like, oh, Ben. This kid did a backward spider crawl up the corner. Scared the shit right out of him. And for the longest time, he thought I was trying to make a move on him. It took months to convince him that I was just fucking around with him.
That's very funny.
Yeah, so there's pranks like that. There's one prank that I will never pull on somebody, but a friend of mine told me about. It was either his brother or his cousin, but the dad took a hot dog and warmed it up to about 98 degrees, which is what the human body temperature is.
Yeah.
Goes in one of the kids' bedroom. Now, the kids are teenagers.
Yeah.
One of them's sleeping, and he takes the hot dog and puts it through the fly of his pants and rubs the end of the hot dog on the kid's lip. And when the kid wakes up, he turns around and pulls the hot dog in and thought that his dad was rubbing his junk on his mouth, when it was really just the hot dog. And it was like, for years, he tried to convince people that his dad was just twisted. And, his dad was twisted, but not that twisted. It was just a hot dog. But dang, I can't imagine how hard they had to mess with his head.
Yeah. That was fun.
And of course, this one with a buddy of mine in school. Back in the 80s, Visine eye drop. You could put 3 drops in somebody's coffee, and it would turn that coffee into like a super laxative.
Yeah.
And he came to school, and he bought the original Saran cling wrap, the really strong stuff back then, not the thin crap we have now.
Yeah.
And he went into the faculty bathroom, because the teachers had their own bathroom. And he went into the bathroom, which only had one toilet, put it over the bowl, and then put the lid down on top of it, and took a light bulb out so you really couldn't see the Saran wrap.
Yeah.
Put the Visine, and the assistant principal. Now, I hated this woman. So did everybody else in school. And about 30 minutes later, I think he had we had what we called a hall pass. It was the only way you could leave classroom during class. Yeah. He had a hall pass, and he was just kind of moseying around the hallway to try to see if he could see the principal make a run. And sure enough, he said she ran across the hallway into the faculty bathroom. And like 5 seconds later, you just hear her cussing up a storm, because when her ass let go of all the shit, it hit the Saran wrap and then bounced back up at her.
Yeah.
So it's all over the back of her leg. It's running down the side of the toilet. Just running crap everywhere. I must have fell out of my stool laughing when he told me this.
Yeah.
When she tells me like 5 years down the road, I'm like, holy crap, I hate her. Oh, I hated her too. This is what I did to her. Check this out. So, yeah.
Too bad y'all didn't have no video cameras.
Oh, I know.
Back in the day,
And I'll say, with that in mind, I'm glad we didn't have cell phone technology with cameras back then, because the crap I did, I probably would be in jail. Because that's all evidence. You can't prove I did anything stupid because there's no video. So,
yeah, it was very interesting. I mean, that if you had you a camera, you can make you some funniest videos. You can make you $1 million on TV.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, of
let's see
course.
who we got in here. We got Vicky. Yeah, Shastel didn't come on with me tonight. I got Aaron with me. I think she
Mm-hmm.
said she might show up, but I don't know if she will or not. She's been busy today. We put in peanut butter sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Hey, Vicky. She said hey to David. Yeah, that's very interesting right there.
Mm-hmm. I also used to have this. This was an unintentional prank. But I was dating this girl years ago, and we were working with a traveling carnival, and the the traveling carnival life back then was a lot harder than it is now. And
Yeah.
there was no room for us to sleep except for the back seat of a crew cab pickup truck. It was an old Ford. Um, and I took 2 couch cushions and put them in the floor well, where you put your feet. That way it's a little bit more level across the top. And I'm sleeping on that. I gave her the bench seat in the back. She's sleeping. I can't sleep, so I pull off the string from the seat covers. And I'm sitting there messing around with it, and all of a sudden I start writing my name on her cheek while she's sleeping. She had these huge rings on her fingers, and one of them had turned around so that the big knot was on the inside. Whap! She thought it was a fly.
Yeah.
Hit herself so hard she knocked herself awake. And I immediately rolled over
Good
and tried
gracious.
not to laugh. I told her years later that what happened, and she whooped my ass for that. So,
He said, I see that. Good to see you, Aaron.
you too, Vicky.
Vicky says, good to see you. Did y'all have any any kind of pranks when you was at school on the other kids as far as uh I remember you
Oh
was
man,
talking
I
about
mean,
that. I remember you was talking about the one where y'all made them other kids think y'all was crazy or something other. I forget what it was about.
the state academy for the deaf. The way what it was as I was at the school for the deaf in Minnesota, and we had a football field that we shared with a military academy, and we used to scare them because for years all the kids over there thought that the kids at the academy were insane because deaf people can't talk. They only make these unusual noises.
Yeah.
So when they get these military brat bring their dates out to the football bleachers to try to make out at 2 o'clock in the morning, the deaf kids are running up and down the woods behind the bleachers, making those noises, scaring the crap out of them. So that's how the academy got the reputation for being the crazy school when it was just a deaf school. But we knew that noise would scare the crap out of them every time, and they never went to those bleachers by themselves. They would always bring a friend with them because they were afraid that one of them was going to jump out and kill them or something. So I mean, yeah, you just hear all that howling and whooping in the woods.
Yeah.
Fun times.
I lived in Toronto. We would get high, take fire extinguishers, go downtown, and just before they get to the car, spray them. You drop it, you had to go pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
In Minnesota, we call those drive-by baptisms.
That's very funny. Um, do you have any paranormal stories? Something that you happened to you in the past, like
I've got plenty of those. I mean,
uh,
you know, uh, every town has some sort of cryptid story, and The town I grew up in was no different. It's a small town called Coon Rapids. And back then, when I say it was a small town, I mean, it had one grocery store, it had one uh, retail store, bunch of gas stations, and that was it. Wasn't a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this thing going around for a while, what was called phantom kangaroos. And yes, I do mean kangaroos, like you see in Australia. What was weird, yeah, this is central Minnesota here. I mean, there's no freaking way we could have a kangaroo. But for years, these kids were going around saying that they were these giant rabbits with a weird tail. So, the parents finally got tired, of listening to the story and actually started to get worried. So they called the cop. Cop comes out. They will describe this big rabbit. And after, most of the kids drew the exact same thing. And it was a kangaroo. And then one day they actually did find footprint that belonged to a kangaroo. But they don't know where it started from. And then at some point, the track stopped. So the damn thing just disappeared. To this day, they still don't know what the hell happened. So that is the story of phantom kangaroos in Coon Rapids, central Minnesota.
That's really cool.
Yeah, there's oh gosh, I've got like a freaking Rolodex in my head of paranormal stories. It's kind of paranormal related. If you've ever been interested in like old school true crime, you probably heard of the Ma Barker gang.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. Ma Barker gang was actually hiding out in St. Paul, Minnesota for a while. And there's some speculation that, one of the Ma Barker gang is actually haunting part of St. Paul. Now, the story is that they were run out by a sheriff. And I actually had a rare pleasure to meet the granddaughter of the sheriff that ran them out of town. When he ran them out, they left behind $30,000 in 1930 cash.
No.
If I could ever find that, I mean, just, aside from the fact that it's 30 grand, this is 30 grand printed in a style that's been out of circulation for over 70 years.
Yeah.
So there's that historical value, there's the crime value, and there's monetary value. Yeah. I would like to find that just because, that's a part of history.
Yeah.
Minnesota is riddled with caves and old abandoned mines. Most of them are haunted. A lot of them are haunted for, expected reasons, mine collapse, people dying in mine explosion.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some of those caves, they're just natural, and there was nothing wrong with them, and they've become haunted because people have used them as places for satanic ritual.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I stay out of.
Me too. I would say I would too. Have you ever investigated a mine?
As a paranormal investigator, no. A lot on the banks of the Mississippi in St. Paul, there's a place called the Robertson Street Caves, and these caves, some of them are old mines, and some of them are just they're made by underground water run out, things like that. And during the Prohibition, these caves were a notorious hideout for gangsters back in the 30s. And sometimes they'd come up the river, they stop on the shore, they offload all the bootleg, hide them in the cave for a few days until the heat blows over. Then they go back, pick them up, and distribute them.
Yeah.
Documented deaths have been there. And now, I used to go to these places all the time just to hang out. This was before I became an investigator.
Yeah.
And, even then, I had some crazy stuff. One time, my friend and I, we came across what may have been a cult. And you know the whole theory of strength in numbers. Well, with the cult, I don't care how many numbers you got. You see some scary ass dude dressed in cloak in the middle of the night down by the cave. You and your little posse, you're going to be hauling ass down the street.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. You know, there was like 15 of us. I only saw like maybe 4 or 5 of them, but those 4 and 5 scared the shit out of us 15, and we literally ran almost a mile back to the van.
Good gracious.
There was one cave, probably my favorite. Unfortunately, they ended up blasting it shut. But it was known as the Screaming Cave. And the way it was, the way the openings were set up, and they had these other caves that branched out further into the cliffside. But just the way those shafts were set up, if a wind came by just right, it would howl inside the cave. And it would sound like a bunch of people screaming. And that's how it got its name, was the Screaming Cave.
Yeah.
The cave. I actually have this video on my Gravedigger production YouTube channel. I'll have to send you the video, Jonathan. It's kind of creepy. Okay. But we did try to go back a few years ago and investigate that place. And we finally we park the truck. We get all our equipment out. We're walking down the road to find the spot on the cliff face where the caves were. And as we're walking, I'm like, I swear I don't want to find the altar. Because the altar in the cave, that if you go in far enough, you'll find a cavern where somebody hand carved a huge ritual altar in the back of the cave wall. And when I was there as a teenager, my buddies went in there and saw blood on the altar. And I hadn't been back since.
Yeah.
So here I am, 30 years later. We're going down there, and so I'm like, I don't want to find the altar. That is one cave I want to stay away from. Now, like I said, they've kind of blown some of these cliff sides down. And they mark off spots on the road to where the caves are. And that's for the utility workers to know where they're at, because they have to keep track of everything.
Yeah.
And we find one, and we climb up there. We finally get up there, and they had tried to fill this cave in with cement and rock. And I was like, this cave feels familiar. And Jill and I shine our flashlights, and there are satanic ritual markings on rock all over the place. And I was like, no, this can't be it. So I break out the SB7, and I put it down inside the small opening. I stick my hand down there, and I have the video camera, and you can see the thing going off, and you can hear it. And I say, "Is this the altar cave?" And sure enough, you hear a voice. Yes. Stopped the video, turned off the SB7, and walked my ass right back down that cliffside and left.
Yeah. I believe I would have done the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll face any spook stuff out there, but satanic shit? Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever played with the Ouija board before, or any investigations or anything?
Well, I never played with the Ouija board. Well, I can't say that. I tried it once and nothing happened, but I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I've had friends do some stupid shit with them. As far as using them on investigation, me personally, I won't use one. And I know, it's true that it is just a tool and intent matters. But the problem is because of the history behind that method of communication, there's just too many risks involved that I'm not willing to take.
Yeah.
I can't tell people not to do it. I mean, I can tell people not to do it, but I can't force them to not do it, not play around with it. I can tell you the one time that probably confirmed my choice to never mess with the Ouija board later on in my life. Was a buddy of mine was telling me how him and some friends of his were messing around with it one night. And some small weird stuff started happening. Things were being thrown. Things would fall off. They'd hear knocking, and it got to the point where they tried to throw it away. They would throw it out in the garbage. Next day, it would be right back in the basement again. They'd throw it away, and it would be back in the basement again. So they decided to move it somewhere else, and it would always go back to the one place in the basement. So they took the Ouija board up onto one of the old, and this was like in the older house that didn't have the panel, so you could see all the woodwork and the framing from the floor above. Took it on a support beam and nailed it up to that beam. And they said as soon as he put the hammer down, him and two of his other buddies looked up and the thing was spinning. At that point, they were like, fuck this. They took it down, they set it out in the driveway, put a bunch of lighter fluid on it and set it on fire. And they said, and all three of them say the same thing, and they hate talking about it, but they said they heard the damn thing screaming.
Yeah. Let's see here. Who we got? Sean, Native Wild Man's in here. Hi to him. He said hi to Vicky. Maddie, how you doing, buddy? Appreciate you coming in. He said hi today. Sean. Said hi to Greg. Hey, Calamity Girl, she's here. Appreciate you stopping by. Hang out with us. We're just talking about some fun times, funny stories. So, yeah, I don't mess with the Ouija board. Neither. My cousins, they did one night. We was all little. Me and my brother and my other cousin, we always hung out together because we were the littlest ones of the crowd at the time. And all the bigger kids, they went and played, and they said they laid a knife down in the center of the Ouija board and said they was doing something there, and said all of a sudden they felt the house shaking, the cabinet doors was open in the kitchen and this and that. And said all of a sudden that knife just went up in midair like above each one's head, and screen door opened up and went stuck in the porch post. And they said they never done it again. The three cousins, they will swear to it. You can put them in 3 different countries on different continents and ask them the same question, but they don't know what question you ask them, and they will tell you the same story, exact same story.
Yeah.
In between all 3 of them. So it was legit,
Here's my question. Knowing the reputation of a Ouija board, whose bright idea was it to put a knife on the damn thing?
I don't know. That's an idea.
I mean, that's like giving a trigger-happy idiot a gun.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you're just asking for trouble.
Yeah, they've always done it. Me and my brother and my buddy, we tried it one time, but we never could get nothing happen. It just a dud, or we didn't know how to do something one.
Right.
But I'm kind of glad we didn't stir up anything.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, on the paranormal side, one thing I will try to tell people, if you're just getting into it, don't be so damn serious.
Yeah.
You want to focus on the investigation. You want to get things done, but you got to learn to live and laugh a little bit. I used to scare the shit out of the guy that I found a night watch with, Thomas Rakowski. I used to mess with him every time we went out. And one time, I literally scared him out of his car.
Yeah. We
were dropping off my friend Neil, and Tom was getting in the driver's side to get back in the car. And as soon as he got in, I was like, and I started like a big dog, and he fell out. Fell out of his car. And anytime I pull a stunt on him, he only gives a 1-word response. Asshole.
Yeah, we had a we was all little, and that's when all of our cousins got together, and we had a Halloween party at one of my cousins' house.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a haunted trail. They set up a haunted trail and had a little Halloween shindig for us.
Mm-hmm.
And after everything's said and done with, all the kids went into the haunted trail and let the parents go through the trail, and we'll try to scare them. Well, we had this old biker barn in the trail. You had to go through the barn, and they had some kind of ghost thing hanging from the rafters from the tier poles in there.
Right.
And my uncle, he went in there and he put a mask on, and my aunt, she's always been, you can fart and she will pass out, and we all went in there, and about that time she came in, he jumped out and scared her, and she collapsed, hit the ground just like you dropped a ton of bricks on her.
Mm.
It and after that, they never did do that no more. They never did have no more haunted Halloween trail things. Sounds like.
Well, if you see, the thing I like about prank is you don't have to wait to Halloween. And
Yeah.
I worked at Arby's for a while, a couple of years back, and I had this one coworker named Jordan. Now Jordan, good guy, young. We talk about Destiny, a video game, and I told him, be careful, because with me, you never know when I'm going to pull a prank.
Yeah.
Which will make my prank so lethal. And sure enough, I had a day off. And did you ever see the movie Death Race with Jason Statham? You know that creepy mask that he got?
Yeah.
I have one that's kind of similar to that, and it's just a scary looking mask. But yeah, I know he was closing one night, so I walk up to Arby's. I got my hoodie, that comes out far, so my face is dark. And I have a flashlight. And it's one of those long flashlights. It's got a grip on it, so it actually looks like something you can just beat the daylights out of anybody with. Use it as a bat.
Yeah.
I put the mask on and I walk in through the back door. He's washing dishes, and I come around the corner and I just kind of look at him. And I look like I'm about to come down on him like Jason Voorhees. I have never seen an oh shit face on anybody like his. I swear his eyes must have popped out of his head. His jaw must have hit his chest. Ah! Oh, shit! And he throws himself back against the wall. I thought he broke the tiles on the wall.
Yeah.
He hit the wall that hard. And he trembled. At this point, I lost it. I just started laughing. And I take off my mask and he says, "You motherfucker." So, yeah. And anytime I work with him after that, he's always peeking around the corner looking for me.
Yeah.
Making sure I'm not hiding again.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. Yeah, we used to pull prank. My uncle, when he was alive, he used to pull all kinds of stuff. And you couldn't ride with him in a car. I mean, he'll lock the windows up, boy, and he'll cut one out there, and you never hear it. And God, you can see the radio knobs melting off the truck. I mean, that's how bad. And he'll be over there just laughing. You be like, boy, if I can break this window, I will in a heartbeat. Hang out like a dog. He always done that prank.
Well, I used to work with a guy, for a guy in the carnival. He would tell stories about how him and his brother-in-law and his, I think it was either his uncle or his dad, but they used to eat pickled eggs on the way out to a hunting trip. And they would roll up the windows and see who would last before they cracked the window. Who lasted the longest before they had to get fresh air.
Yeah.
And he said, "Dude, the smell in that van." And I can imagine, because I've been around him when he lets one rip. I know they get bad.
Yeah, my uncle and them, he was always bad for that. He'll find something other to do. They was camping. They was camping one time, and they was out there fishing. And my uncle, he if he has to go to the bathroom, you better get out of his way because he's going to the bathroom.
Mm.
And at that time, they didn't have like bathrooms, normal bathrooms. They had these little outhouses out on the lake.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this boy had his bicycle parked behind there, and that boy told my uncle, said, "You ain't nothing but a little liar. You just want to get in here or something." And that made my uncle so mad. He's already had to use the bathroom. He went around there and crushed that boy's tires. He flattened them, took a knife and done that. He said, "He called me a liar again like that." And he said later down the road, said that boy seen him, said, "You have flattened my tires." He said, "No, I didn't." There's a little more to that story, but I don't know exactly how it all went. But he said that boy never seen me again. Like that. I never laughed so hard in my life.
Well, I know the kind of outhouse that you're talking about because in northern Minnesota, when you get out to like the where most of the camping is, you find some of like real rural, primitive campground.
Yeah.
And these old outhouses, they're the kind of outhouses that look like they've been there since the Revolutionary War. Not very well kept. They're not that clean either.
Yeah.
And all it is just like a countertop with a hole cut in it. You don't even get a freaking toilet seat. Come on. But yeah, we used to have this story that would scare the shit out of it. And I was in the Boy Scout. And every time we had a new Boy Scout come in, we'd be like, don't ever go into that outhouse because there's a thing in there called an egg-a-pillar. It'll crawl up your ass and it's hard to get rid of. You can cut it up and it'll just grow more pendant like a hydra. So don't go in the outhouse unless you want an egg-a-pillar in your ass. And so you would see these new Boy Scouts not shitting for a week. They would find a tree somewhere out in the wood before they go in that outhouse.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was not a very nice kid. But they got me with that too. In my first year out there, they got me with that. I didn't shit there for a week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Talking about rural, I live super rural, but I have a toilet seat. Yeah. It was crazy. My uncle, he told us some stories like crazy when they go out places like that, and it was so funny.
Now, the kind of stories where you hear about a guy with a hook for a hand or some crazy. Yeah.
I know my mom and dad, we used to live in a house that had a basement that you had to go outside. Didn't have a steps to go down from the inside. You had to go outside and go around and go in the basement. And she always had me and my brother and my little cousin. All three of us always been scared because they used to come to our house and we used to play cards and stuff like that. And the kids, we always run around. And we was always scared to go to the basement because mom and them said there was always a headless horseman down there, a man with no head. We never went down there. They sent us to go down and get something, canned food or something off the shelf. They never got it because we never did go down there. We go somewhere else and play or do something other.
Yeah, I would have been, if you and I were related, I would have been the one cousin sitting down there with a mannequin head, just waiting for you to come open that door, throw that head out the door, slamming that door shut and hauling ass. That would have been me.
I gotta go see him. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you for hanging out with us. We were scared to death. I bet we was like, I don't know, about 3, 4, 5 years old. And they always told us that. And Lordy, we were scared to death.
Well, let me guess. When you got a little bit older, you play the game where like, I dare you to go in that basement. No, I dare you. No, I dare you first.
Yeah, we sure did. We took bets on who's going to. Well, actually, we did go down there one time, and we got down to the bottom step, and it was real cold and dark, no lights, and it was just really eerie feeling. And I think it was my cousin at the time. She was there with us, and a grasshopper jumped on her leg. Oh God, man, she about took the house off its foundation. Yeah,
I can imagine.
Well, she took. I mean, she come up through there, them steps, went by me. I had to turn around in circles when she went by me. I mean, of course, we didn't stay neither, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, anytime you got somebody that starts screaming and throwing their legs and arms around like that,
yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to stick around for that. What's she
Yeah.
running for? I don't know. She's screaming. I'm gone.
Yeah, and then my aunt and my cousin, they went to my mom's graveyard one night with my dad and a few others. And there's a grasshopper or something that got on my aunt's leg when she got in the truck or something or other. And she said there's something keep moving. She thought something done took something home with her. It was a daggone grasshopper or something that was messing with her. They said she about to come from out of that truck while I was moving down the road.
Well, I don't know what it is about women and creepy crawlies. I used to go hunt for snakes when I was a kid, not poisonous ones, but I mean just your typical garter snakes, hognose, things like that. And my mom was driving home, and I had a snake in a bucket. And my mom, at this point she's already doing 60 miles an hour. She said, "Aaron, if I feel that thing crawling up my leg, that snake is going to learn to fly." So, yeah, I got to hand it to my mom, though. She sure put up with me and my crazy random animals that I would bring home when I was a kid.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't have been in the same vehicle with you if you had that snake in the bucket.
Yeah.
There's no way I could have.
I mean, I remember a friend of mine got I think it was called a Kentucky mud snake, but it's the snake that actually has a stinger in its tail.
Yeah.
And it releases the venom. And it's not toxic to humans. It's just extremely annoying because it's almost like an itching powder. So you itch like crazy. That bastard got me one time. I mean, I wasn't doing anything mean. I was just, picking it up, holding it, and all of a sudden I felt it get me like right here on an arm. So for like 3 days, I'm just, son of a bitch. Surprised I even have any skin there, really.
Yeah. Facebook user, hey you. Yeah, we've done some crazy things. I know my one of my cousins one time, I forget which one it was. They have you seen on TV where they catching frogs and they jump down people's shirts and stuff and they do all that funny dancing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it does happen in real life. Because my cousin, it went down his shirt that time and he danced. And I bet his brother had like a little like one of the fly swatter things.
Oh
he was trying to get it. He said, "Smack it, kill it, do something other." He was beating my cousin all to pieces with that thing. He stood there to get the frog. The frog came out his red leg and he still done beating the tar out of him.
Well, it's like one of the things I used to love to do to people, especially if it was outside during the summertime, I would just walk up, whap, and I would just crack them as hard as I could, backhand them upside the head or whatever, and they get this look, what the fuck? I'm like, you had a bug on you.
Yeah.
Bullshit! I don't see it. Well, yeah, because I got it.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, so nowadays, the new trendy prank is what's called invisible danger. And this is basically where you act like something coming at you. If you're in a living room with somebody, you point under a couch and what the hell is that? What the hell is that? And you run, and whoever's around you has no clue, but now they are instantly terrified of whatever is under the couch. So, remember that one if you ever want to prank your family again.
All right. My cousin said it was a cricket. It was on her mama's leg, pants leg. That's what got her. I had a fly go up my fence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was about like that song, Mississippi Squirrel Revival, where that squirrel went up that man's overalls. Hey, Lazy Acres Homestead. Hey, buddy. Appreciate you stopping by, hanging out with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've when we was growing up, we've actually had some a lot of crazy stuff happen and everything, and most of it is the older. Oh, we went snipe hunting. You know what? When you take somebody snipe hunting, right?
Oh man, I've gotten so many
Oh, yeah.
kids with that.
We was all little. I bet everybody was at our house one night. I know there's about 15, 20 of us cousins. There's more than that, but there's about 15, 20 of us. And we was wanting to go. My dad, my uncle, well, my two of my uncles and my dad, that was all we in for. They said, "Yeah, let's take y'all tonight." We was so happy we was gonna go hunting. Well, we got a bag and we went out there at the end of the road. It was probably about half a mile out the road, and it was just a dead end road, woods, pine trees growed up. I mean, it's spooky out there,
Mm-hmm.
and that that area was so dark that you couldn't see nothing. We didn't even have no flashlights with us. We was just all blinded.
Mm-hmm.
They told us all of us had to stand out there with our hand on the bag. And now you see us all 15 kids out there with our hands. Everybody had one hand on the bag trying to hold to catch it. But my dad and my uncle said they were going to go around and chase them out, and we got to catch them in that bag. Well, them fools chased them all right. They went and made a big circle, and we went back to the house. And here we are standing out there for about 2 and 3 hours, just standing there. Then somebody made a noise, and we all got scared because we heard something out there, and we thought it was something getting ready to run the bag. So we dropped the bag, and we took off running. There, Daddy and my two uncles sitting out there just dying laughing at us fools. And it was cold too, and all that. And good God, what are you talking about? Some of my cousins got mad over that deal.
Well, okay. I used to go to a church in Louisiana, or my aunt and uncle's church, a cowboy outreach in the arena of life. And we were having this big old cookout one time, and Audie, this is like genuine cowboy. I mean, you ain't gonna, between him and my Uncle Jane, you won't find a more genuine cowboy than these two. Now, Audie was standing outside, and we were talking, and he sees somebody else's kid playing with the water hose that they used to fill up the water trough with. And the kid is sitting there, looking for a bug or something. And Audie goes, "You looking for something?" "Yeah." "Well, look inside that hose right there." The kid looks in there and goes, "I don't see nothing." He goes, "Shake it." So the kid's shaking it. Now Audie walked over to the spigot. He goes, "Now you look in there real good." The kid got it like right up to his face, and Audie just turned that thing all the way up. Now his wife is like, "Audie, what's the matter with you?" And Audie and I, we're just dying with laughter. So kid is just totally soaking wet at this point. So
we went to a auction sale one night. Me and my mom, my dad, and several other people. We went, and they were selling this little doll thing that you put water in. It's like a water gun, but you put water in it. And if you there's a man standing there, if you pull his shorts down, he'll pee on you. I got so many people with that thing. I say, you gotta look. Now, there's a button right here. They always want to mash that little button, but it didn't work. I said, you got to pull his shorts right here, and you'll see his eyes go up. But they'll focus on his eyes. About that time, they'll squirt them right between the eyes. I never laughed so hard. I don't even know where that thing got off to.
Yeah. I will say probably the one thing, I don't know why this is, the one thing that always makes me laugh the hardest is when parents prank their kid.
Yeah.
I mean, or when kids run into stuff. There is a viral video, and this was at like kind of like an alternative sports center where you can have like trampolines, and you have like ball pit, And they didn't have walls; they had clear plexiglass that would divide the section. And this video showed this kid, he got to be like 5, 6 years old. This kid is just so excited. You know, he's like, can I play? Can I play? Can I play? And the mom's like, fine, go ahead and play. And he just takes off at a dead run, fast as he can. Hit that clear plexiglass wall. Bam! And bounces back like 3 feet. First time I saw that, I was trying so hard not to pee my pants. I don't know what it is, but kid doing stupid shit like that, I just find that hysterical.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't, aside from him bouncing like that, the fact that you could hear that plexiglass rattling in the hole. I mean, all of it was just amazingly done. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
Wonder if he got brain damage now.
We would have fun together. I always fallen into something. Yeah.
If I saw you fall in a hole, my response would be like, "You all right? Yep. You know what's going on YouTube, right? Shut up."
Yeah. What? Well, I was watching the video. I guess it's been about a week ago now on YouTube. It was funny stuff like that. People doing pranks and people just wasn't paying attention and they just walk into a pole or something like it.
Oh yeah.
And I watched this one on there the other night. I was at work and I laughed so hard that I was literally crying. I was laughing so hard. People know you get hurt when you do stuff, and they still try to do it, and then they like about half dead when they at the end.
Yep.
Like, did you learn your lesson?
Well, another one I like to watch is the one where people, they're so jumpy that if they have something in their hand and you scare them, and you see like their cell phone flying 40 feet away, or their shoe gets kicked off their foot because they jerked so hard.
Yeah.
Those kind of pranks, I love those too. They're the new set of pranks that's actually been coming around, and I love my wife. And it's because I want to be able to see her in the buff. And, again, I won't prank her with this, but I do have some friends that I will do this with. I'm going to take a big speaker, a Bluetooth speaker, hide it under somebody's bed, and then play the audio of a little ghost girl. Come play with me. I'm so lonely.
Yeah.
These videos, there's one where this dude was like, nope. And you just see him jump off the bed 10 feet to the door. He wouldn't even run down the floor. He just jumped clear off the bed and got out of the bedroom. Or sometimes they'll be under the bed with the speakers. So when they step their foot down to get out, they'll reach out and grab the ankles, and then they lose it.
Yeah.
So yeah, people are getting more creative with these Bluetooth speakers.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the one where these guys are sitting on these airbags come out of the cars and stuff?
Oh yeah. Yep.
And they will mash the button and it's there.
You watch
how
it hit
dumb you try to be. I mean,
yeah.
Mama didn't raise no fool till she raised my brother, so I ain't that crazy.
Right. Well, I mean, I will say there was a couple of them. They did a really good job at hiding that seat.
Yeah.
Or hiding the airbag. But yeah, if you see like a short barrel with just a bullet on top of it, that should be red flag number 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen some where people just get launched like 5 feet in the air and they're completely horizontal, and I feel bad for some of them because sometimes they don't land right. You see them flipping it on it, and they land just right and they curl over like a pretzel or some shit.
Yeah. I watched them videos so many times that after 10 or 15, you'd be like, have you ever watched these videos? Have you ever seen these videos? Does it make you mind? You still want to do it?
Well, it's like I remember back in the 90s, what the stupid thing that was going on for a while. People would get like a really thick plate, and they would stick a dynamite underneath it and detonate it, and see if that dynamite would launch them and the plate up in the air. Okay, I grew up watching cartoons. I've seen what imaginary dynamite does.
Yeah.
And I know what dynamite is for. How many times were you dropped on your head to think that standing on a stick of dynamite with a metal plate was a good idea?
Yeah. There's some crazy out there. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Bud Files, how you doing, buddy? Appreciate you coming in. But you can't put a speaker under my bed.
Who said they have to be under the bed? I
Yeah,
could put that shit in the closet.
I watch his TikTok videos, and the guy and his wife lives here in North Carolina. Actually, they just live in the same county I live in, but just down the road, And I finally got to meet him one day in the store. And I've been following him for about a year and a half, and I never did get to see him nowhere, never met him or nothing. And I finally ran into him in the store. And I said, "Is your wife Willie do pranks on you?" He said, "Yes. Every day she put some kind of red stuff in the shower head." And he cut his shower and his food color and what it was. He was red. He got it all washed out, and he went and put his body soap on his body wash, and it was blue. He came in there, and he looked like a Smurf from head to toe. Smurf. He was fussing, complaining about that. He said, "Will you stop messing with my stuff?" I never laughed in my life.
That's like one where they put like baby powder inside the dryer.
Yeah.
And the girl comes out. She's wet. She's clean. She's getting ready to go out on a date. Now she looks like freaking Al Pacino in Scarface with a face full of coke. And mess with a woman and her look. Boy, you better make sure your life insurance is up to date.
Yeah. My buddy, I was at his place today. We was talking about baseball cards and stuff, and he said somebody, I forget who it was, one of the athletes, they had to do a drug test, and said that the drug test finally came back. Said it came back is a guy, is a man. It said the drug test came back that he was pregnant. He used a woman that was pregnant and used her urine for the drug test. Can you imagine?
I've heard of people doing stuff like that. Well,
man,
okay. Here's a joke that I heard growing up. This guy was going to the doctor. And he got a small pain in his elbow. And the doctor said, "Okay, I want you to take this cup, go home, pee in the cup, and then bring it back." Technology is amazing. We can find out all kinds of things just from a urine sample.
Yeah.
So the guy decided he brings it home and he decides he's going to mess with the doctor. So he pees in the cup. And then he has his wife pee in his cup. And then he has his daughter pee in the cup. And then he, take care of business and bust a nut in the cup. And he brings it back to the doctor. Doctor runs some tests. About a week later, he calls the patient back in. And the guy, just waiting to hear how confused the doctor is. And the doctor goes, "All right, so here's the deal. Your wife has an STD. Your daughter is pregnant. And you're fine. But if you don't stop jerking off, you're not going to get rid of that tennis elbow."
He already know what's going on, didn't he? Yeah, there's some crazy stuff goes on. I laughed so hard when he told that. I thought, now that's some crazy stuff right there.
Mm.
That reminds me of the Cheech and Chong movie where that one guy
Oh.
that was riding down the road and he was holding that jar like this.
Hmm.
That's pretty funny.
Or when he gets pulled over, they get high in the car and they they hit like a little barrier thing, and the cop walked up and goes, "Can I see your license? Ain't there one in the front bumper, man?"
Yeah, I like that. That's I think that's the best one.
Mm.
I like the one where they're driving that limousine and they got wherever they going. They done had wasn't nothing but just a hole in the motor. They
Hmm.
didn't clean the car out, and finally they supposed to be delivering that money was under the seat, and they didn't know there was money on there. And
Yeah.
everywhere they stopped, and they had to give them pieces of the car. There's some crazy people.
Yeah. And they're still around, getting
Yeah,
high, cracking people up.
yeah, sure is. Yeah, I saw one the other night. I was gonna try to tell you about it, but I can't remember where I seen it at. I was gonna tell you to check it out. It was on YouTube. I put in some kind of I think some kind of prank or something other. I forget what it was,
Hmm.
and I died. So since weed is legal in this state, you can't see anybody in cars here now. Yeah, it ain't got like that here. It's like a rolling smoke bomb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we Minnesota just legalized recreational marijuana, but it won't go into effect until tomorrow, I think, August 1st. Um, but I when it comes to weed, I don't have a problem with it, but I just know that there are people out there who just should not do any drug whatsoever.
oh yeah. Hey,
Um,
Kenny, how you doing, buddy? Appreciate you coming in.
I
Yeah,
got a buddy of mine. He is. I love him like a brother. I try to help him. But my gosh, every time he gets high, it's like I
yeah.
have to babysit him. And I don't mean like babysit him like he's immature. I mean babysit him because he gets these really stupid ideas. Yeah, I want to go out and do this. No, get back here.
Yeah.
They're the reason why it says high voltage, don't touch.
Four plants per house. We have five houses. That's pretty crazy. One time I was on an island in the our river. It's wooded, and I was out the woods. In the woods, there was a big group of people.
Well, see, if here's the thing. If I'm on an island by myself and I see a group of people on some canoe walking, coming down the river, I would set up my phone and record me butt naked, covered in mud, running down the beach at the river toward them, screaming and hollering with a couple of sticks in my hand, shouting like some mad native.
Yeah.
Just to see the reaction.
Yeah. Can you imagine taking somebody on a doing a paranormal hunt one night and they about like 2 or 3 days away from delivering a baby or something there, and you scare them and they done pop that youngin out right there. Can you imagine that? Oh man,
Yeah.
that'd be something.
You hear that pop sound like when you pop a champagne cork.
Yeah.
They see the dad over there being a wide receiver. Oh, got it.
That reminds me of that commercial, that Doritos commercial, where that dude went to the hospital with his wife and they was
Yep.
mad.
I remember that commercial. Yep.
When he threw that chip by getting that baby shot straight out. I laughed so hard I couldn't laugh no more, man. My ribs hurt me so bad.
Yep.
I made a wrong noise. My God, it scared the whole lot of them. Oh, by the way, tomorrow is 31st of July. So
Okay.
that'd be.
It'll be Tuesday then.
I don't even keep up with the days no more. I done got lost.
Yeah.
I just go with the flow.
Yeah. I'm at the point where it's like, when I try to sub guest for the show, I say, you want to, when you let come out? Oh, yeah, come out on this day, Monday, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, well, next week. Why don't you just say next week?
Yeah. Yeah. God, I gotta go to work in the morning. Dang, oh, I'm dreading that. Been off for 3 days and gotta go back. That's always the roughest.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Same here. Is it tea time yet?
We're all a little mad here.
Hello, native. Yeah. Computer. There we go. Let's see. I hate to cut the show short, buddy, but I would like to have you come back on if you would.
Yeah, no problem. Let me
I,
know and we'll hammer out a date.
I really enjoy having you on. I really like listening to your stories and stuff. Maybe we can come up with some more stuff we talk about and laugh and
Sure.
carry on, and
For
we'll
sure.
talk about some more pranks and stuff. But I do
Yeah,
enjoy having you on
I
the
can
show,
tell you
though.
stories, man. I can tell you stories.
When are you going back to your bridge investigate again? Uh, Probably in 2 weeks when I get another Friday off. We might go on a Friday night. It's just according on what things we got going on. August 11th, we're going back to the clinic, so it might be that Saturday, and then Sunday, the 13th of August, we might. I got to go to a church, and they've actually have some activity there, so I'm gonna go check it out to see what they got. I don't know yet, but we that's it's in the works. I have to work tomorrow, and I land a nice catfish, flathead catfish, and a channel catfish. That's pretty good, bud. 35 was the biggest. That's pretty awesome. So, yeah, we would enjoy having you come back on. Like I said, that I'll get find my book again, and I'll write your name down whenever you want to.
Yeah, no problem. Just like I said, just get a hold of me and we'll hammer out a date.
All right. And I'm gonna get Neil back on too because he didn't
Mm-hmm.
get to finish one of his stories that he was telling. He had to go because it was getting late for him, so he said he had to be at work a little
Yeah.
early. So yeah, like I said, I like listening to y'all talk about y'all's old investigation days and pranks and stuff. That's
Mm-hmm.
it's good to have a laugh every now and then, ain't it?
Yeah, sure. Especially with the way it's crazy as the world got.
It is, sure is. Yeah, same time in February. Cool. Well, man, you in touch with you, and you're always welcome here on our channel. Anytime you want to, you just let me know, and wait. You're always welcome to show up on channel. If I have a guest and they leave early, if you want to pop on, holler at me, and I'll send you the link.
All right, for sure. I'll keep an eye out.
All right. So, man, you take it easy and you have a good rest of your night.
You too.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Okay, everybody. Well, I hate to say this, but I'm going to have to get going. It's already just about 10:30 here, and I'm going to have to get in bed, get a little bit of sleep, and I appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Like I said, August 11th, we will be going to the Trivette Clinic again. We're going to get there about 6 and probably go live about 9 Eastern Standard Time. So be on the lookout for that. And I'm just basically going to walk through the building and cut in on each people that's doing the investigation and video it. I might sit down for a little while and investigate a little bit myself. But we just want to have fun. We got a packed house. I think it's like 12 or 13 people going, maybe 14 at the most. So we're going to have a good night. And is it date again, bud? August 11th is the Trivette Clinic. 6 o'clock, but we will be going live probably around 9 Eastern Standard Time. So, and we'll probably go to about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, according on how good the activity is. And pretty much about all the team members will be there, all the C.O.P.S group except for one. But we will get together again, and we'll try to get the whole team together, and we'll do a video with the whole team, just sit down talking and see how they all got started in the paranormal stuff, what made them get started and stuff like that. So we might do that. All right, everybody, y'all have a good night, and I will see y'all later. Bye, y'all.